Okay, let's try this again. All right. So, hi everyone. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Rayma Pfeiffer, and I am over on Instagram a lot. I know not everyone is, but I'm also a holistic nutritionist myself, and have gotten to know Nicole over the past couple months, and she's just helped me hone in on my own journey. We are dealing personally with some toxic mold exposure, and then a lot of my audience is dealing with that too, because we're all trying to navigate how do we deal with this inflammation that hit our bodies and trying to bring it down and heal from it. And it just hijacks hormones and gut and mood, nervous system, all of that. So Nicole has been so gracious to help me with getting started with Alovea and what that looks like for inflammatory response. And then just everything from there. And it really also hits the liver too. And so I'm very excited that she's going to hit Limitless, which is a big time helper for the liver tonight. So for her, I want to introduce her. You guys, if you don't know her, she is a rock star, stellar human being, and just so full of love and giving and light. And I have just like just oh, you guys, you're in for a treat tonight if you've never heard her talk. She is so passionate about educating and just getting in there and talking about all of the wellness things. And tonight, she is going to hit on specifically blood sugar, hormones, inflammation, sleep, stress, and then her own journey of Hashimoto's and just what has happened in the past 2 months. I don't know if you guys have even seen her before and after pictures. They are insane. I've been sharing them. I'm like, what happened? What is this? What is going on? So I'm really excited for her story. And she has been a practitioner for over 15 years. So again, she knows how to do emotional work and muscle testing and really get in there and work on just the holistic body. And so without further ado, I would like to let Nicole take off with this. And I'm so excited that you all are here. Feel free to take notes and ask any of the questions that you have at the end. So go for it, girl.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rayma. Y'all, isn't she so beautiful? I mean, she is so beautiful and she's brilliant and she loves the Lord. And it's been such a joy getting to know Rayma over the last few months. So yeah, like Rayma said, hi, I'm Nicole, if you don't know me. I've been a practitioner for a little over 15 years. I got into the health and wellness world because I was really, really, really sick. I had a lot of diagnoses. I had a lot of stuff going on, and doctors didn't have answers for me. And one of the areas that I have become really passionate about is hormones. I, at one point, was an apprentice midwife, a student midwife, worked very closely in the midwifery world, doula, childbirth educator, lactation consultant, hormone coach. And so for me, helping women with their hormones, helping women feel better so that they can live the life that they were called to live it with vitality, live it with energy, live it with joy is truly one of the things that just puts a fire in my bones. It excites me. And I am just really, really excited to share with y'all tonight. I was kind of joking around with my husband before the call that I should have named this call the chicken or the egg, because as I am writing notes, as I am prepping for this evening, it's just so interesting to me. And I never get tired of teaching this topic, but it's interesting to me how hormones, emotions, digestion, inflammation, liver health, they all work synergistically together to create balance in the body. So when someone comes to me and they're like, Nicole, I need help with my thyroid, it's never just the thyroid. It's the adrenals, it's inflammation, it's the liver. There are lots and lots and lots of things going on. So tonight, as I teach, as I share, if you're like, wait, she already said this, it is going to sound a bit repetitive because I'm going to be hitting some points home. And you're going to see that while the hormonal axis, while the hormonal reproductive systems in our body, they seem really complex, they're really not if we just do some basic things. So like I said, they all, like our liver, our pancreas, our ovaries, our hypothalamus, the thyroid, they all work together synergistically. But what happens when they go out of balance? What triggers the body to go out of whack? Because some people are like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what triggered this. And that's what we're tackling. So that's where we're starting. And here's the thing. It almost always comes down to one of a handful of things: imbalanced blood sugar, a burdened liver, stressed out adrenals, poor sleep, toxicity, and malnourishment. And you might be like, wait, Nicole, malnourishment? Like, I'm telling you, I have thyroid issues. My adrenals are out of whack. I have 30 pounds I want to lose. And you're telling me I'm malnourished? Yep. And we're going to go there. And I'm going to explain why. And you're going to be like, light bulbs going off. I promise. So we cannot feel our best or balance our hormones when we have one of these 6 things going on, one of the 6 things that I just named. And we have our HPA axis to attribute to this. Now, y'all might be like, what? One more time, slow it down. We're diving in. I'm going to explain this whole hormonal axis to you, because our hormonal axis, or the HPA axis, views all of those things. Again, the poor sleep, the toxicity, a burdened liver, as a huge threat to our bodies. The hormonal axis is a combination of our hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the adrenal glands. And it is one of our body's most vital networks. It literally coordinates our stress response and regulates almost all other hormones in our body. Now, with the stress response, this is huge, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I feel really stressed, or I don't feel stressed at all. So this whole hormonal imbalance thing doesn't make any sense. But you do not have to experience a major stressor in order to have a stress response or trigger the fight, flight, or freeze reaction. Our HPA axis is activated when we exercise, when we get startled, when our blood sugar drops, or when it recognizes foreign invaders like viruses, bacteria, or toxins. Now, I don't know if anybody else has heard this or anyone else has experienced this, but in the last 2 years, a lot of women have been complaining about their cycles being really wonky, all over the board, heavy. Maybe they got COVID and they're like, my cycle has not been normal since. I just gave you an explanation as to why. Your body is literally having an immune reaction to this invader. And your HPA axis, your hormonal axis, is literally trying to bring your body back into homeostasis. Now, our HPA axis also follows a circadian rhythm. So as soon as the sun comes up in the morning, our melatonin levels drop. Most of y'all probably know this. And your blood sugar is low because you have been fasting all night. So the rising sun and your low blood sugar activates your HPA axis. Your hypothalamus tells your adrenal glands to produce cortisol. So listen, friends, if you are skipping breakfast, your body very well could be going into a fight, flight, or freeze response, because it literally can go into a panic and say, we're not getting any food. We need to be on high alert and produce that cortisol. When that happens, cortisol then releases stored sugar from your liver and your muscles. So your hypothalamus breaks its fast and then will get to work. So ultimately, cortisol's job is to release stored sugar to fuel your body as part of the stress response. So with this low blood sugar, with this unhealthy diet, with this, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee on the way out the door to go take my kids to school and run errands, we are literally sending our body into this like mode of, hey, we're in danger. We need help. So this is super, 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 super important, because our HPA axis is vital to our survival. When the communication is disturbed between the hypothalamus in your brain, your pituitary gland, and your adrenal glands, you will become sick. You will. That's why any doctor worth his medical degree will ask you, if you go in, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been so sick all the time. I feel like I get sick, I get healthy, then I get sick again. He will ask, she will ask, have you been really stressed lately? Stress is one of the biggest precursors to illness. And if we don't deal with it, we send our whole body completely out of whack. Then our pituitary glands act as that middle manager. So when your HPA axis is overactivated from chronic stress or disease, communication fails and it affects your adrenal function. So you're starting to see this whole, like, where the imbalances can happen in the body, right? Now, this axis is our primary form of hormonal communication. So when things get out of whack, our bodies will always try to protect ourselves. And how it does that is by sacrificing our reproductive health. So our reproductive system is not required for survival. So one of the first things that our bodies like do when they're under stress is try to save themselves and prevent the ability to reproduce. This means that our bodies don't fight to stay in that state of homeostasis with balanced progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. And what we end up with is infertility, irregular periods, weight gain or weight loss, depression, anxiety, fatigue, insomnia, low libido, changes in our appetite, digestive issues, hair loss, and hair thinning. So what do we do? Like, how do we really grab hold of this? I'm going to just kind of get on a tiny bit of a soapbox here. If anyone comes to you and says, you can balance your hormones with just this one thing, just do intermittent fasting, just do keto, just do this thing, it should throw up a red flag, because balancing our hormones is always several pieces to a puzzle. It looks like, again, keeping our blood sugar balanced, making sure our liver is cleansed, supporting our adrenals, establishing sleep routines. I cannot tell you how many women have come to me in the last 15 years and said, Nicole, I can't lose weight. I can't lose weight. I can't lose weight. I can't lose weight. I say, how's your sleep? Like, oh, I get 4 hours of sleep a night. I'm like, well, that's where we're starting. Sleep is crucial for hormone balance. I'll dive in deeper in a minute. We also need to remove toxins as we learn about them. Another side note, if you are freaking out about toxins, if you're like, there are toxins everywhere and I can't go into the grocery store because I can smell the toxins and I'm scared of life, you're stressing out your body. You are literally putting a burden on your adrenals just stressing about toxins. So the goal is not to freak out about toxins and like run around like a mad woman and be like, oh, I can't remember anything. It's to trust the process and say, as I learn about things, I will be mindful of toxins and I will eliminate them. Okay. And then the last thing is nourish the body with well-sourced whole food ingredients. Now let's break each one of those down, because I promise you, it is not as complicated as it seems. I promise. So we're going to start with balanced blood sugar. So what a lot of people don't know is that stress, like I already kind of hinted at, very often leads to insulin resistance. And here's how. Chronic stress causes chronic production of cortisol. Cortisol affects the way that the body produces insulin, which makes muscles and fat cells resistant to insulin, and it increases the production of glucose. Insulin is a hormone. It's a hormone that helps us metabolize our food, and it facilitates the movement of sugar into our cells. Now, don't freak out. We all need sugar. We need sugar to survive. Your brain needs sugar to survive, and for every function of our body to function properly. Insulin is like a key that unlocks the door to our cells, right? So our cells get the fuel, and then our cells are activated to do the very things that our cells were created to do. But when we have imbalanced insulin, it leads to insulin resistance, which is like that key, which is like a key getting stuck in the lock of our door or our cells, and it gets jammed with sugar. And then what happens is our pancreas comes to the rescue when that key gets jammed. Most people don't know that our pancreas has a whole lot to do with hormone balance, which is why blood sugar is crucial. So our pancreas will keep producing insulin for a while until it gets fatigued. And when that happens, we begin to see high insulin levels that lead to imbalances and metabolic disorders like diabetes. So, biggest tip here, please, 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 for the sake of your hormonal health, avoid yo-yo dieting and extreme exercise. The food deprivation and the intense exercise cause our body to release adrenaline, and adrenaline raises the blood glucose. Remember how I said the chicken and the egg, which comes first? We're like, oh, I'm going to get a really great workout in, and I'm going to push my body, and I'm going to lose the weight. And then we release more adrenaline, and then it releases more insulin, and we end up in this vicious cycle. So again, saying, how can I nurture my body? How can I move my body in a gentle way through something like Pilates or walking or swimming, something that's gentle and doesn't cause these huge surges. The other thing that is crucial, and this is where I start all people, and you have it in your home already, is make sure you are hydrated. Dehydration causes blood sugar to become concentrated in the body. And there's a huge connection between minerals and insulin and cortisol imbalance. So mineral water is absolutely the best route to go to help balance to help get the blood, the sugar in your blood moving. The other thing is eating in frequent intervals. Focus on eating high fiber, whole foods, healthy fats, and then managing stress. Again, this is what you're going to hear throughout the entire call. Managing stress, deep breathing, walking outdoors. Fun fact, when you walk outside and you look at the horizon and you see things moving past you, it literally signals to your body that you can rest, that you can relax, and that your body can restore because you don't feel stuck anymore. So literally a simple walk is one of the best things that you can do to balance your blood sugar and then help balance your hormones. Okay. Next thing, supporting the liver. Another thing that a lot of people just don't know is that the liver has a lot of critical roles as it relates to your hormones. So our liver is responsible for removing excess estrogen, converting thyroid hormones into their active mode, so our metabolisms work properly. And our liver also helps to balance our blood sugar. Our livers can be impacted by a range of factors like drinking too much alcohol, certain medications or diseases, infections, accumulation of fat in the liver, toxins, and genetic disorders. Hear me, you cannot have happy hormones and an unhealthy liver. You can't. So again, when people come to me and they're like, my hormones out of whack, I'm breaking out, my skin looks terrible, I am bloated. One of the first, I go with blood sugar and then we address the liver, because a happy liver means happy hormones, almost always. So when our liver is burdened like this, it creates more stress in the body and then will lead to inflammation. Okay. There is a huge connection between imbalanced hormones, inflammation, and immune health. Most people associate inflammation with swelling, redness, or even puffiness. You can have chronic ongoing inflammation and have no idea. Your body can literally be ravaged with it because our bodies literally struggle under the surface before we become symptomatic. So the symptoms are the last sign. So it's not until you end up with really stiff joints. Stiff joints don't happen overnight. PCOS doesn't happen overnight. Endometriosis doesn't happen overnight. It's an accumulation of toxins in the liver that lead to inflammation and that the whole body has to respond to. So when our bodies are exposed to sources of inflammation, like illnesses, like food, like toxins, our hormones will spring into action and they relay messages throughout our entire body that trigger an immune response. Our immune systems then use energy and hormones to fight the source of inflammation. So with chronic inflammation, your hormones don't stop their emergency response. And this is really, 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 really important to know. Now, all inflammation is not bad. Again, it's a part of our immune response. We need it to fight pathogens, right? But we need it in a healthy amount. We also need our hormones, these same hormones that can go after and fight inflammation, for energy storage and for conversion, things like insulin and androgens. Okay, so if you don't know this, huge thing, for most women, inflammation is behind period pain, ovulation pain, PMS, anxiety, moodiness, and more. Because it's not just inflammation in the ovaries, it's inflammation in the gut, it's inflammation in the brain. Like inflammation doesn't just hang out in one area. It's not like, oh, your hormones out of whack, let's just inflame your ovaries. Again, the gut, it's the whole body. So what can we do? Y'all, I'm kind of on repeat and I hear myself. Eating a healthy diet. I will always talk about lifestyle first, always, because I'm not going to sit here and just tell people like supplements or like, take this, take this, take this. We have to address lifestyle. It's a big piece to the puzzle. And making sure that we get gentle exercise that's not causing an inflammatory response, like Pilates. I personally love P-balls. Amazing program, very gentle. Again, walking, swimming, being mindful of the toxins in our environment. The next thing to balancing our hormones is supporting the adrenals. Again, talked a whole lot about it. because of that lovely HPA axis of ours. But I really want to emphasize the lifestyle tips that help us regulate stress. And this is one of the biggest things that I do in my life, is literally assigning a new habit to something I already do. So if you're like, okay, I really need to manage my stress. When I'm done brushing my teeth, I will pause and I will take 5 deep breaths in to the count of 4. So I'll breathe in to the count of 4, hold it for 4 seconds, and exhale for 4 seconds. I just do this a few times. This helps regulate the nervous system. I was telling Rama the other day, twice a day, every day, non-negotiable, I go for a walk. Does not matter the season, doesn't matter if it's raining, because again, it literally resets your autonomic nervous system. When you are in motion, your brain says, I am not stuck. I can keep going. I am safe. Another thing that I do non-negotiable is something called brain dumping. It's huge. Every morning I sit down and I just write whatever comes to my brain. And then when I'm all done, I go through with a colored pen and I circle some priorities. So a couple super simple things to do for stress, and then prioritizing sleep. Poor sleep negatively affects how insulin is used by the body. Poor sleep negatively affects how the body can deal and process inflammation. So sleep has to be a priority. All right, next up is nourishing the body. So lifestyle tips, lots of practical, lots of teaching about how this hormonal system works, but I am now going to dive into what it looks like to have well-sourced whole food nutrition. Hear me out. I am the biggest advocate of an organic whole food diet and getting your minerals and vitamins from food first. However, it is my professional opinion, personal opinion, that it's just not possible to do this anymore. After a couple decades of research and being a part of the real food movement, here are some things that I've learned. Our current commercial agricultural techniques have left our soil completely deficient of important minerals, which is causing the food that's grown in the soil to share the same mineral deficiencies. Many of our foods are shipped long distances. Like y'all, 50, 60 years ago, when you walked through your grocery store, like you didn't walk down the aisle and see Asian food, Mexican food, Italian food. But because of the Industrial Revolution, because of shipping practices, we now have access to all of these different types of food. And it's just not natural for our bodies. And not only that, they're overfarmed, overproduced, highly processed, and we're not getting the nutrients from them that we get, or that we should be getting. And then many fruits and vegetables are genetically bred to improve the visual appeal and add no nutritional value. Like I've already said, we have a huge issue with sporadic, erratic eating habits. We don't chew our food. We eat on the run. We don't eat, which leads to blood sugar issues. And then we have to talk about pharmaceutical drugs. I am not opposed to modern medicine. I'm not opposed to allopathic care, but our use of those things has escalated significantly over time. And a lot of medications, if you just read the inserts that come with them, deplete essential nutrients and use up our glutathione, which is our master antioxidant that our livers produce, which is also necessary for converting hormones. And so we are, again, it's like one of those things of, as we're trying to get healthy, we need to make sure that we are nourishing our bodies with proper nutrition. Like I've said several times, like Rama mentioned, I've been coaching women and a few men in nutrition and hormones for nearly 2 decades. And I have seen a whole lot of supplement trends come and go. I've also seen companies sell a whole lot of targeted support. I'm going to repeat that again. A lot of companies selling targeted supports, and people end up on 13 to 15 different supplements a day. They're taking one supplement for their hormones. They're taking one supplement for the inflammation caused by their imbalanced hormones. They're taking another supplement for their digestion because of their imbalanced hormones. They're taking another supplement for their liver because of their imbalanced hormones. And like, it's horrific. And I've literally seen people's supplement routines and they're taking dozens and dozens of pills, like literally handfuls of pills. Not only is it excessive, it's expensive, and it can actually cause further imbalance in the body. When you are taking copious amounts of supplements, you are literally taxing your liver even more, because your liver that's already burdened is having to break down these massive quantities of supplements. So for years, I've been looking for a simple protocol, like simple, with pure clinically backed ingredients that made balancing hormones not seem so daunting for women who are already struggling with brain fog, anxiety, and crazy blood sugar. Anybody else ever experienced that? Just like drop a me in the chat. Like you're already overwhelmed, you're already confused, you already don't know what to do. And then people are like, oh yeah, take this and this at this time, and this at this time, and put this here, dab that here. Make sure to take these supplements together, but not those supplements together. It gets so overwhelming, right? All right. So for all these years, I've been forced to cherry pick because I hadn't found a company that offered these like amazing foundational products that I could get behind and really support the whole person. So when we're saying functional nutrition, we're talking about whole body systemic support, not isolating compounds, not saying, hey, I'm going to take this from my liver, because what we're doing is we're sending all the nutrients then to the liver, and the rest of our body is then energetically left depleted. Like, hey, we're focusing all of our attention on the liver, but it's also left scrounging for how to metabolize and use these supplements. So several months ago, I was introduced to Alovea. And as I began to research the products, I did 80 pages worth of research with a team. 80 pages worth of research, page after page after page. Some of these people were practitioners. Some people were just super passionate about health and wellness. And what I found is that Alovea really did a great job of providing cleanly like sourced extracts and organic ingredients. They had a simple but super powerful approach to functional nutrition, which again is what I was looking for, that baseline, that foundation, that thing that I could go to women and say, and a couple of the men that I work with, and say, here are a couple things, start here. This is where we'll go. This is what we'll do. These are your first goals, super simple. And then the other thing that I loved about Alovea was their ethical business practices. They also have a super red mission, which I'll cover in a little bit. But what my husband and I noticed within just a few weeks was truly remarkable. My husband saw a huge shift in his gut and his histamine intolerance, which affects hormones as well. Because again, there's that inflammation, right? If you have allergies, if you have histamine, you have hormone imbalance, because your body will try to protect itself and protect the whole HPA axis for both men and women. But what I was blown away with was the huge change in my hormones, which is why we're here tonight, right? This is literally what sparked this call. This is what like set me on fire. And I'm like, people have to know about this. I know so many women who are looking for these solutions, and I have to talk about it. So like I said, what got me started in the holistic world was I was diagnosed with PCOS. If you're not familiar with PCOS, it's a metabolic syndrome, which meant that I was diagnosed with prediabetes at the age of 19. I was also diagnosed with endometriosis. Both are blood sugar and inflammation issues. And then later on in life, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. For years and years, I have battled to keep my hormones and thyroid in check. You are not likely to find somebody more radical than I am. Like if I set my mind to something, I will do it. I will follow the most strict diet, the most strict regimen. But I was stuck in this vicious cycle of inflammation, imbalanced blood sugar, and my hormones were absolutely crazy. Y'all, I was on so many supplements, herbs, essential oils, and again, super strict about my diet. And I have tried to live a very non-toxic life now for 16 years. So I didn't suspect that that was a huge issue. At 38, I had our 5th child, and then turned 40 this year. My hormones have been a complete nightmare since she was born. Literally nothing was working. Nothing. Things that had worked in the past weren't touching what it was that I was going through. I was severely inflamed. I was losing hair. I was miserable. I had severe brain fog. Within just one cycle of using Alovea's products, I saw a dramatic difference. I lost 14 pounds within 3 to 4 weeks, which is gigantic for somebody with a metabolic syndrome that is already struggling with their hormones. I went from having an extremely heavy flow for 6 to 7 days down to 3 to 4 days of a light to moderate flow. But the first thing that I really noticed was how calm I felt, like just how calmed I was. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that I did, and then we have some people who are going to share their experience as well. Because as I started telling people, I'm like, hey, will you try this? Hey, will you try this? Hey, and they're like, Nicole, I feel completely different as well. So they're going to share. So one of the first things that I did, that's part of the foundational hormone kit is Prime. It is a plant-based nitro boosting protein powder, and it is so good. By far the best plant-based protein powder that I've had. It's a really great protein powder, period. But I keep saying plant-based because I'm so impressed that it has 20 grams of organic protein to help us balance our blood sugar. It also has enzymes to help our livers break down the nutrients, because again, with that hormonal imbalance, our livers struggle to break things down. So when you're taking a lot of supplements and you're eating a lot of animal products, and I am not a vegan, I'm not a vegetarian, but our livers still have to break all of that down. So drinking a shake a day is just a really gentle way to give my digestive system a rest, to give my liver a rest, to have those enzymes to break it all down. It also has prebiotics for gut health. It has eighth man, which I'll talk about in a second, for immune support. But another huge bonus, and this is huge for those of us with hormonal imbalance, is that it increases nitric oxide by 230%. Now, why nitric oxide is a big, big deal is because it's a signaling molecule that our bodies produce to maintain blood vessel integrity, appropriate oxygenation of tissues, and our metabolic health. So there's a direct connection between nitric oxide, estrogen, testosterone, thyroid hormones, stress hormones, and even glucose and insulin. So maintaining nitric oxide levels to properly maintain hormone levels as we age, especially because the older we get, the more nitric oxide we need because the less we produce, is huge for that stress response, for fertility, and for weight management. Okay, then Limitless. Is Rama still on? Because I know Rama is like a huge fan. Limitless is the go-to, not only for liver health, but it has many functions, because again, Alovea's whole thing is whole body systemic support, right? So beetroot is really powerful for detoxification, supports a healthy liver, supports the our hormones. It has proline in it, which is a proprietary betalain that removes 100% of the beet sugar out of the beets that it's made from. So we're not having the sugar, we're not having the insulin surges. And these betalains are rich in phytochemicals that have, again, been shown to regulate glucose and detoxify the liver. They've also been shown to reduce clinically, this is not anecdotal, reduce inflammation by 47%, improve energy by 120%, and suppress the COX-2 enzymes, which are important precursors to pro-inflammatory metabolites. Okay, so again, just it literally goes after inflammation before the inflammation can even hit. All right, who here has Fix and drinks it and loves it because it tastes so good, but it also makes the biggest difference? I see some hands going up. Fix contains a ton, well, not a ton, it's a few ingredients that help improve mental clarity, reduce that cortisol, support immune health, and your digestion. Again, clinical trials have shown that it reduces cortisol by 24%, inflammation by 36%, stress by 70%, fatigue by 79%, headaches and muscle pain by 70%, the inability to concentrate by 75%. So like literally kiss brain fog goodbye. It is amazing. I drink mine in the afternoon because literally your cortisol literally is highest from 8 until about 2 p.m. in the afternoon, which is why most of us have a huge crash in the afternoon around 2 or 3 o'clock. So we get those sugar cravings, all health, like ideas of healthy eating go out the door. So I personally love my Fix in the afternoon to help my body shift and transition into calming down and to helping stabilize the blood sugar. Okay. And then there's Balance. And I know, I feel like people are like, I have gotten so many messages about Balance, so many comments. It is radically changing people's lives. I don't say that lightly. We're gonna have a couple people share their stories, and I don't want to take their stories away from them. So I'm also gonna give you some facts. Balance has the proprietary ingredients. It's the highest level of diethgenin on the market, which is a wild yam extract. That is your precursor to all of your hormones. When our bodies are depleted, when our bodies are literally stuck in this cycle of like using like hormones, imbalanced blood sugar, we can't convert. Dietary comes in and helps bring the body into a state of balance and calm, and works as an antioxidant to reduce the oxidative stress. It has protective properties against metabolic conditions. So again, there's that blood sugar, there's the imbalanced hormones. It also helps to prevent adipose tissue inflammation. So a lot of people are saying, man, I'm losing weight. I'm seeing the inflammation go down in my face with taking balance. It is excellent for both men and women. My husband takes it, and listen, we are all singing its praises over my husband taking it. I'm taking it. It's amazing. It's wonderful from puberty to postmenopause, like literally for everyone. This supplement is remarkable. Okay, just a few more things. I have to talk about Alovea's BioRes sprays. I'm waiting for Raymond to be like, yes. Okay, so literally frequency water. If you are someone who's like, I need lots of extra support, Nicole, I don't sleep, I am completely stressed out, I am moody, I am snapping, I know my thyroid is jacked, my body temperature is low, I am just all over the place, I can't lose weight. There are 3 different sprays, and they all do amazing things. But first, I'm going to talk about Thermo. Thermo is a spray that supports thermogenesis. So if you have an underactive thyroid, if your body is not regulating hormones properly, you have a low body temperature. So what these sprays do is, again, frequency water, safe for absolutely everyone. Like I spray Sleep and Relax, the next 2 sprays, in my 22-month-old daughter's mouth, okay? The one exception is if you are pregnant, you don't need Thermo. Your body is producing lots of hormones. You're going. You're normally at your peak there with hormones. But Thermo supports metabolism, supports the thyroid, supports the adrenal glands, supports the detoxification pathways. It gives proper energy flow to your body, meaning it will bring your body into a state of homeostasis. So if you are in a big cortisol rush, you are stressed, it will help bring it down. Another one is Relax. I truly don't know how I have lived. I don't say that lightly. This spray is my jam. It goes everywhere with me. It is the go-to for the autonomic nervous system, like the go-to. So that fight, flight, freeze stage that we all get stuck in. And keep in mind that stress, all of those stressors that our bodies are experiencing, whether it's from illness, bacteria, life stress, work stress, kid stress, EMFs, radiation, that's all a bombardment on our autonomic nervous system. So I start every day with Relax, just as a way to like literally tell my autonomic nervous system, you're safe, you're good. It's also fantastic for focus. I have a history of focus issues. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I was on medication in elementary school and middle school. Such a huge difference. And then the last one is sleep. Now, the amazing thing about sleep is that it's not just for sleep. People are like, I sleep great, Nicole, or I get a solid 7 or a solid 8. This supports every function of the body while you sleep. So while you're sleeping, your autonomic nervous system is resetting, your body's detoxifying, your metabolism is resetting, your cells are communicating, your neural pathways are healing. There are so many functions happening at night, and sleep supports all of those. So these sprays are the bioresonance spray. It's literally water that stores data from over 100 different plants each. And we have a full board. Check the chat. If you're like, what did you just say? Have you lost your ever-loving mind? This sounds a little crazy. Check the chat. We have info for you over there, I promise. All right. Last thing. If you have Hashimoto's, if you have an autoimmune disease, if you know you have leaky gut and inflamed gut, please tune in, because all of those things are completely jacking with your hormones, which you already know. And one of the primary, the proprietary, the foundational flagship ingredients in Alovea is Ace Mannan. And whoop, I just knocked it over. Their immune product is literally just straight eighth mannan. Now, eighth mannan has over $100 million. I was actually talking to the formulators and the owners of Alovea, and they said that they actually believe that there's been close to $200 million now spent on the research of eighth mannan. Now, eighth mannan is a really powerful molecule that results in some of the following benefits. It's been shown to have powerful effects for those with autoimmune issues, and this is why. If you are a woman and you have had a baby, gotten pregnant, and you had an autoimmune disease, you know, almost always, without exception, your body goes into remission when you get pregnant. And it's because of something called mannose. And this mannose attaches to our cells, and it literally signals to your body that you are safe, that your body can rest, that you can heal. That is literally the only other source of mannose in nature, besides breast milk, is eighth mannan. And we have the most concentrated form of eighth mannan on the market. It's also great for neurological support, for better focus, for better sleep, for your memory. It helps heal the lining of the gut. Again, these are all backed by clinical studies. My husband is over in the chat putting up the board. You can go and read the studies yourself. This is not just me being like, oh, like I am wowed by this for a reason, and it's because the studies are there to back it up. So I'm not just popping these pills, hoping that they work, riding it out for 90 days, saying like, gosh, babe, sorry, I hope we didn't waste money. Like, I am confident because I can see the clinical studies. The other thing that eighth mannan is amazing for is it is a wonderful prebiotic. It also supports collagen production, and it enhances our immune cell response by being immune modulating. Now, y'all, I could teach on all of this, like each one of these things, I could probably teach on for 30 minutes and take a deep dive. I'm not going to, because I've already put together most of that information again in the chats. But what you need to know about immune modulating is that it balances both sides of your Th1, Th2 immune response. So it's not just this boost that supports the symptoms that we have with a Th1 immune response when we get the sniffles, when we get a cough. It literally helps the body produce B cells and communicate and say, we are safe. We are safe. We're okay. Like, we are good to go. We don't need to go into hyperdrive. The other thing that eighth mannan is really known for is increasing stem cell production by up to 300 to 400%. Huge. And again, earlier I mentioned glutathione, like all the pharmaceuticals, our diet, we are completely depleted of glutathione in our culture, and eighth mannan enhances glutathione by 50%. So literally one supplement, one pill, and again, safe for all ages. I pop open a capsule. I actually am putting 3 of these capsules now in my 22-month-old daughter's kefir in the morning. So I like literally just open it up, shake it up, and I've seen amazing results with her. She had a molluscum outbreak, and it is clear. We've been fighting it for almost a year, and we've been watching it clear up in like the last 3 or 4 weeks since we've been increasing our amount of eighth mannan. Okay, so remember the mission that I mentioned earlier. Y'all, it's the real deal. This eighth mannan that I'm talking about is literally the heart behind this company. This company started because of its mission. Alovea is a public benefit corporation owned by 2 non-for-profit organizations that founded a model called the Social Business 3.0. And their whole mission is to provide sustainable solutions to the world's most challenging health concerns. So every time you take one of these supplements, every time you take a serving of the protein shake, or you take a fix, or you take one of the sprays, which is again, some of the best nourishment that science has to offer, a serving of Hope Boost, which contains this eighth mannan, is donated to a malnourished child. In orphanages where 35 to 40 children were dying each year because they were immunocompromised, 0 kids have died in those orphanages since receiving this eighth mannan. So when you purchase those 4 foundational products, which is the Prime, the Limitless, the Fix, and the Balance, that's where I suggest most people start. And if you're in hyperdrive and you're like, I really need the sprays too, because that really fit. Or, hey, I have an autoimmune disorder, and you add the immune, like those are the add-ons. So the 4 foundational products, when you purchase those, 84 malnourished kids will get a serving of Hope Boost. And that is like what is like just so rad to me. And I get choked up every time I like try to talk about it. But super fun thing. And then we're gonna get into some stories. Alovea corporate heard stories about how people's lives were being transformed with these 4 products. They're like, what is going on? Like these stories, like they knew that it was happening, but when we combined it and we put together, like, hey, this is why the blood sugar, the liver, the stress, the balance, and they saw that we kept recommending these products over and over again. They gave our crew, so like this team alone, a special discount. So this discount is good through a Cyber Monday, and it gives you an additional 10% off all Alovea products, which means all of the products I talked about tonight, the 4 foundational products, normally would be $297, and it's $203 until through Cyber Monday. That is an insane savings, insane savings. So again, amazing deal for 4 products that work together. If you want to add on the sprays and the bottle of Immune to that foundational set, you can get all of that for $357 through Cyber Monday, and that's a $559 deal. So I think it's like a 37% discount. Nobody hold me to that exact number. I don't do math really well. I love science, don't do math really well. Anyway, about 36, 37%. Huge, 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 huge deal. Okay, so again, these stories that have sparked so much interest, the stories that have brought us here tonight, I would love, love, love to hear from some of these women. Like I said, I already shared my story. Rayma, if you're around and you want to share, love to hear from you.
All right. Hey guys. So Nicole, thank you so much. That was incredible. I think we can all attest that we just got fire hose in the best way for all of the holistic wellness. Like I'm so glad there's a replay. That's all I'm saying, because I want to go back and like retake notes with all the HPA access stuff. I love this stuff. And I know you all do too. So I'm just going to talk really quickly about my own experience. Like I said, we have gone through if you all follow me on my Instagram, some of you are on here, hello. You all know we have gone through a dumpster fire year. I think I could attest to a lot of us actually have gone through quite a bit in the last couple of years with COVID and society and just all the things. So we ended up moving across the country from Oregon to Florida, and we moved into a house near the ocean, which we're so excited about, except for about a year into it. Like I said, we found out we were living in toxic mold. So it was so bad that we had to move out, and we ripped our house from the roof all the way down to the studs. And we've been living in hotels and all kinds of different places, very sick. And my nervous system was hijacked, y'all, so intense, where I'm irritable, I'm snapping at my kids, everything's making me jump, like everything, like nothing, even slightly small stressors. Right. And then to have to try to general contractor house, just so much. And I couldn't fix it. I couldn't pray enough and fix it enough and try to I knew it was nervous system dysregulation, and my autonomic system was mad because I'd gone through a breast explant into a year of mold, and then I had 4 cavitations removed, and my body was like, we're done, SOS, I'm out. And so many women tell me all the time that they feel this way too after postpartum, where it's just so much. So that's when these sprays come in. So I had resigned from, another thing in all of this dumpster is I had resigned a 6-figure a year income with a company I was previously with. And I was so stressed out because we were building back our house. Like, who does that and build back? Like, nobody does that. And I was freaking out. Ask Nicole. She met me in my most insane reaction time. And anyway, so she told me about these sprays, and I was like, all right, sign me up. I'll start taking them. And so I would spray them right when I wake up, under the tongue, 30 seconds. Y'all know if you have these. And I will tell you, when I resigned, I was physically shaking, and I was trying to share about this process, and I couldn't. The anxiety was so high, and I've never been an anxious person. I couldn't handle it, and I had to put my phone down and walk away. And I started implementing the sprays. And as I have done that, there have been, I'm sharing more and more about my journey, my story from this past year, and from this last, this last company that I've been working through. And because of the sprays, I have been hit with so much adversity in the last month, and some real big Goliath stuff. And I am so chill, as a cucumber. I might get emotional, but I'm a different human. I feel like I got my life back. And I was thinking about neurofeedback. You guys, neurofeedback is like $1,000 at least for 10 sessions. And I even had my mold practitioner tell me, like, in order to heal from mold, we send people out to neurofeedback because their nervous system is so messed up that your body can't even get into rest and digest. And so you're going to have to do these sessions. And I even tried, I did a couple sessions. I couldn't get there on time. It was expensive. And I thought, this is just insane. And so the relax sprays have literally given me the calm I need to fight through any kind of storm. And it sounds almost too good to be true. It does, but I am a different human. And so I attribute it to the relax. And then I will say this too about the sleep. One of the things that you need, especially if you're in a healing crisis or in just a mom, like living your life in the daily, is you need good, nourishing, deep sleep, because that's where the body heals. You heal in sleep. And so I was not sleeping well at all. My husband, all of us were not sleeping well. My kiddos either. And so I started implementing the sleep. I have never slept better. I would wake up and I told my friend who I told her, she was, we call ourselves moldies, like the people that are dealing with mold, like another moldy friend. And I was like, try this stuff. And she said, I go, you know what it's like? I said, it's like, I know this feeling. And I go, what is that? It's like, oh my gosh, I've recognized this before. It's like, I am sleeping. The last time I felt like this is when I was a kid. That sleep that when you were a kid, where you wake up and you're just like so nourished and you just feel like a different human. You wake up and even a little sleep, I would always not function and just be a nightmare. And I can function on some days with little sleep, feeling super rested, restored, all of that. And I'm actually starting to heal my body. Like my body's starting, the inflammation is, starting to go down with the limitless and all the things, but these are foundational. These are what I started with. I didn't even implement immune or limitless until after these. And these, gosh, I could go on and on. I will not go on because somebody else is going to go. But I tell you what, I love it too, because you can give it to kids. You can give it to kids for children's meltdowns or sensory, or if they're dealing with sleep, and you just kind of work on your dosage as you so fit. Like you listen to your body and you were like, I might feel a little groggy this morning. I'm going to back down on my sprays. Or you know what, I really am like revved. I'm going to do a little bit more sprays tonight. And you just hone in, and then you play with it based on what you need for your body. And same with your kiddos. And I'm so thankful. I will say this last thing. I went without them because my order hadn't come, and I slept like I was a wreck, because it's going to take my body a while to heal from mold. So I'm going to need my nervous system. I'm going to need the support. And I slept so bad without them. And I was like, I'm never going without these. And I don't need melatonin too. That's another thing. Like I cannot use melatonin now. I don't have to give little tiny pieces to my kids when they really need it either. Like the sleep is doing it. So that is all. They're amazing. And I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. I love it, Rama. Thank you so much for sharing. I feel like Rama's like our BioRes spokesperson, because I have watched it all go down with you. I've literally watched you like downshift in your nervous system, downshift. And I will say, like, she truly is different. Like,
I would call her crying and just be like, we just found out we're about to re-rip our floors up. We're just freaking out. And like, I'm just like, something hits and I'm like, cool, let's deal with it. What? In a month or two? Who am I? So it's really cool. It's amazing.
I love it. Awesome. Amy Evans, are you on? I know she has a toddler and isn't always able to hop on our calls. Nope, I don't see her. All right, Sarah, are you available?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah, and okay, so my story is similar. I'm a mom of 4, 3 biological, 1 adopted, and I went through postpartum, hormones crazy, but then we transitioned into doing foster care, and I got the shingles in the midst of that. And so when your body, those responses, it was like that desperate moment of something is not right here. I knew that my hormones were crazy because I wasn't right after I had my last one. She's 8 now. But then when I got shingles with that, I just knew, like, it was just that desperate moment of, okay, I got to find something. So I searched, I tried things. tried lots of different supplements and things, and just nothing really worked, Um, and so, fast forward to now, my kids are older. I have a toddler now, and she is my sensory kid. She started out rough, and, but you have a toddler who's sensory and kind of crazy, and mom is sensory and gets crazy at times too. And it is really challenging, at times. And so we went through lots of changes. We moved across country and all the things. And, I just was desperate. Like, it got to the point where I was like, I want to find joy, in my life. And this just seemed so hard, and was tired of hard. And, I try to eat clean, but my sleep was horrible. My stress management was horrible, all the things. And so anyways, I heard Nicole's story. She shared it on her feed. I've followed her for so long and been connected with her, and it just resonated in my heart so much. But I was so skeptical because I tried so many different supplements, some of the same similar things that we've all tried, and nothing really worked. Nothing really, really worked. And so I was hesitant. And so, I went on and ordered, but I was like really strategic, because I was like, okay, I'm going to get the chewables, because I can give that to my kids and see how that works out. And I'm going to get the balance, because my hormones and adrenals, and I wasn't managing, my cortisol levels are crazy. And so I was like, I'm going to get balance, and I'll get fix, so those two can work together. And, I needed relax, and I wanted to try relax on my toddler as well, because she has moments and times that she just is over the top. So I wanted to try relax, and I got the sleep spray because my sleep is crazy. So those are what I started on. So I've been using those for 4 weeks now. And the minute I got my box, I opened relax, and my toddler literally was going crazy, and I opened it, and I sprayed it. I'm like, I'm going to just try it. And so I did. And literally, like, I can't even explain, like 20 seconds, I could feel it going into all my cells, literally like moving throughout my body. And I even like sweat a little. It was just really crazy. And I was like, I just felt that, like, I was skeptical. And when I felt that, I was like, this is the real deal. And so I just started and was faithful, taking them every day, the balance, the fix, and the celebrate. I take the chewables, give them to my children. I am telling you, after a week, I noticed such a difference. And I was like, am I just imagining it? Is it in my head? And it just continued. And I'm 4 weeks in, and it's just like my body's has peace and calm. I find joy. I'm working on heart issues, like heart things that I was telling my husband earlier. I'm like, I felt like I was in such like the fight or flight mode, like almost put walls up to my feelings, because I was like just so chaotic in myself. And I like heart things are coming up, and I'm working through that. And like, I'm able to feel and able to just really, it's just I can't, it's hard to even explain, but it just is so good. Like, I feel like I'm normal, and I can think, like the chaos is so minimal, and it's just been such a blessing. And I get choked up talking about it too, because it's like, and my sleep is incredible. The sleep spray is amazing. It doesn't make you feel like the melatonin can just make you, crash initially. It's just like this rest. And then like when you sleep, it's just this deep, beautiful sleep. I agree with Rayma, but anyway, that is my story. And I am so thankful for Alovea. And it's just the beginning, because I haven't even like started Limitless, and I want to get immune. I mean, I feel like I haven't even tapped into it yet. So I'm just so excited. So anyways, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah. I think like that is what is so amazing about this. It's just like a few ingredients, a few supplements are making like such a huge difference. Amy, who wasn't like, she's not on the call. If she isn't, you're on, Amy, and you want to interrupt me, rad. Amy reached out to me, like she's reached out to me several times. And like, Nicole, I need help. Like, I need help. I am really struggling with my toddler. My hormones are all over the place. I have like no drive, like for intimacy. And we had tried lots of combinations. We had tried lots of things. And she like is singing the praises of balance. Like she's like, this literally was the biggest game changer for me. And so it's just amazing. And she already ate a very clean diet, lived a very healthy lifestyle. It's just like the thing that her body needed to, reset, reshift. So anyway, lots and lots and lots of stories. And I am just really grateful that you took the time. Like so many of you are on this call. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us, to really learn about your hormones. Like my heart is to empower women to really understand how their bodies work and not just give them a pill and say, here you go. Like, go off now and live your life. Like, because once we're empowered, we live differently. We make different decisions, and it's not decisions from a place of fear or because we read something on the internet. It's like, okay, now that I know how my hormones work, now that I know about this HPA axis, now that I know about sleep, I'm going to protect these things a little bit more. I'm going to be conscious and be mindful about the decisions that I'm making. So more than anything, that's what I hope you walked away from this Zoom with tonight. It's just understanding your body a little bit more and feeling a little bit more empowered. And if you are interested in the Alovea products, like I said, we have a code for 10% off the entire website through Cyber Monday. When you become a preferred customer, you also get an additional 10% off. And when at different increments, you get bigger and bigger discounts. It's kind of like a buy more, save more deal. And then like major added bonus. As for every serving of supplements that you take, you are nourishing a child in need. So everyone on this call obviously needs hormone support. Most of us need immune support, stress support, all of those things, right? And we're going to buy it from somewhere. So knowing that our purchases are taking care of kiddos is super, super rad. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. Thank you again for joining me. I'm going to stick around for like 10 minutes and answer any questions that you might have. If you need to go, if you're like, time is up, I have kids to put to bed. Bless you. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us.